Good evening. Welcome to the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert here on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth. You know, it's crazy. We see in this country these things that are going on in our government with this push through impeachment by our crazy Nancy Pelosi. She loves to do these types of things, and I don't know, people. I just say to you, in 2 years, we're going to be watching the polls and everything else, and hopefully we'll get some of these irregularities cleared up soon, because Ms. Pelosi needs to go, and also does Chuck Schumer. There's an old biblical story about a lady named Ruth. Some of you remember the story. Ruth was in line to be queen. She was one of the young ladies brought before the king to become queen of this particular area. I'm not sure if it was Babylon, where it was. But anyway, the king loved her so much, and he didn't push it, but she came in and she became king. Not king, but queen. The king loved her very much. Now, this lady was told by her uncle that there was a plot to kill the Jewish folks in the area, those who would not serve the king or whatever, bow down to the king. I believe that was the way it went. If I'm wrong, you can tell me in the comments. But anyway, the plan was to do all these things and stuff like that. So the Haman, the king's assistant or right-hand man or whatever, he went to the king one day. The king said, "There's a gentleman in this city or whatever, a village, who helped me out through a situation and told me that somebody was going to harm me or was trying to do some bad things in our city." So he said, let's help that man. Let's go out and get him and bring him back to the city and parade him through the street on a horse, and have the people throw their garments out or whatever, just kind of honor this man for what he did for the king. Now, Haman knew Mordecai, and he didn't like Mordecai. Mordecai would never bow down when Haman came by. So Haman hated Mordecai because he would not bow down to him. He only bowed to his God. And this is what Mordecai made clear to Haman. So, isn't this interesting, people? You see how things happen. So he's determined, I'm gonna get this Mordecai. So what he does is he goes to the king. The king tells him this thing, and he said, "The man I want you to do this with, his name is Mordecai." Whoa! So Mordecai has to be paraded down the street with Haman. Get ready, people. Showing and saying that Haman is a great man. He's accomplished great things. Bow down to him. He's a great man. The king has exalted him above all men in this city or whatever. So Haman, those of you who are not aware, he hated Mordecai. So he had prepared during this attempt to kill the Jewish people. He had planned to cut off Mordecai's head out in front of his house. So he built the gallows and everything else. But Mordecai said, if God does not use you, he will find someone else. Mordecai said to Ruth, if God does not use you, he will find somebody else. This is what he told the queen to stop this thing of the killing of the Jewish people. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going in the right order of it all, but it's in the story. I said that to say this: Haman was the king's right-hand man, prepared the gallows to kill his hated adversary, Mordecai, because of the course the king elevated Mordecai because of what he had done for the kingdom. He did a lot for the kingdom. But Haman, who knew about what was going on in the kingdom, didn't really know who this man was that had saved the kingdom and done some things for the king. So, Mordecai was he wanted to hang him on the gallows. So what happened? Ruth went to the king. She went in when she wasn't supposed to, but the king loved her so much, he allowed her to come into the inner court. So she told the king about this situation. So the king got not Mordecai, but got Haman and asked him if this was true. So what happened? The end of the story is this. Haman ended up getting hanged or killed on his own gallows that he set up to kill Mordecai. He got killed by setting up somebody else for a lie. Well, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with you in a moment here on the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert here on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth. Welcome back. You're watching the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert here on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth. There are a group of Republican swamp creatures that went along with the Democrat Party in the second sham impeachment, which makes no sense at all. We consider the support of the Democrats for Antifa and Black Lives Matter. Will they ever answer for their inaction, for the fact that they didn't act in that riot situation? The answer is yes, they will answer for it. Eventually. We'll see when they'll answer for it. But keep an eye out, people. It's coming. Anyway, so, another sham impeachment. But we're going to let you know who not to vote for. If you have another Republican candidate enter the race in these races in these states who come up, do not vote for these people. These people who are foolish and are following behind the Democrat swamp creatures, becoming swamp creatures themselves. As usual, there's always people who are willing to sell out their own mother to accomplish things. Number one, Liz Cheney, destroying her own father's reputation. Liz Cheney, Republican from Wyoming. The next one on the list is Jamie Herrera Butler from Washington. Republican as well. John Keiko of New York. Next one, Adam Kinzinger of Illinois. Next on the list, Fred Upton of Michigan. Next one, I think it's Michigan. I don't know, is that Missouri? No, that's Michigan. Dan Newhouse of Washington. Notice these are all going toward Oregon, by the way. Pete Maher of Michigan as well. Anthony Gonzalez of Ohio. Tom Rice of South Carolina. And David Valadao of California. These are the Benedict Arnolds of the Republican Party. We don't want to vote for them the next time they come up for re-election in 2 years. Vote them out of office. Get behind the Republican candidate that will be running against them. And we do advise, and in those states, in those areas where you heard these people, I've given you some ammunition to run against them. President Trump made another speech that will not be played in mainstream media. They avoid him, of course, as always. During the speech from the House floor Wednesday, GOP Tom McClintock, Republican from California, suggested riots over the summer played into the violence of the Capitol building. And I agree with you, Representative McClintock. All this stuff that the Democrats are pulling up right now, this is all avoidance, people. Whenever they accuse President Trump of something, I told you this yesterday, whenever they accuse President Trump of something, they're trying to cover up what they know that they are guilty of. When they call you a racist, that means that they are the racists. So, President Trump issued a speech. He says he's going to bring out 20,000 National Guards or more to cover the inauguration of President-elect Biden. But let's keep an eye on that. There's a reason why the Democrats want President Trump out of office. I can give you several reasons, but I'm not going to give you any because you are intelligent American people. You can look at the president's power and see what he can do before the 20th of January, just a week away. Why do you think they want him out of there? There's all kinds of things he can do. Matter of fact, a lot of us thought Obama was going to do something like that when President Trump was elected president several years ago. McClintock, the California Republican, said the California lawmaker said Congress said if Congress prosecuted Black Lives Matter and Antifa, and these are my words, with the same zeal as their members of the Black BLM and Antifa who attacked the Capitol, which they're trying their best to cover up. That's what they're trying to cover up, people. It was not the Trump supporters. If you even look at the video, you will see that those who are actually supporting Donald J. Trump in his rally were just standing there. There was a bunch of other people ahead of them on the Capitol steps trying to break into the Capitol, and they did break into the Capitol. Granted, some others may have walked in, but the incident would not have happened but if the Democrats, who love anarchy because it is good for their brand of politics. They love anarchy, people. They love unrest because it can serve their thing as they do what they always do. They always like to play the race card. I told you that in last night's program about Nancy Pelosi saying that the whites were a mob of thugs. Now, she didn't mention that a lot of Trump supporters were black, a lot were Hispanic. She just targeted the white people. What did I tell you? These people in Congress, the Democrats, and even Facebookers now, they're trying to ban the last program from last night. They allow some things to come in, but they're not even allowing me to share it on my page the way I like to share it. Because I call the Democrats systemic racists, and that is exactly what they are. You can try to block me all you want, but they are systemic racists. McClintock also came down on the impeachment by noting if they impeached every politician who gave a fiery speech in the sham impeachment documents that they are trying to get passed, then every politician there on Capitol Hill, it would be deserted there. He also slammed their efforts to suppress free speech. You go, Tom. You go. You tell them what needs to be said. We're going to take a short break here on the Black Conservative Voice. You're watching the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert here on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth. Welcome back. You're watching the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert here on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth. Twitter and Facebook cry victim after Uganda puts a meddling ban on their social media sites. Why are you crying, Facebook and Twitter? You're doing the same thing to the conservative voices and the conservative media in this country. So why are you whining and crying about the fact that several places are putting you on ban? I told y'all yesterday that there are a lot of governments, including Mexico, that are against the ban against our president for posting on Twitter and Facebook, which was stated by, and then here comes their leader once again, earlier today, talking about he believes what he did was right. What did I tell you yesterday about these people too? They are going down because a lot of people are going to be banning them. And you know who the next social media giant is going to be? He loves it. And I can tell you, now I don't know what his other things are going to be, but I really perceived, and I don't know if this is a fact or truth, this is just my opinion, and what I believe is pretty much, I believe is going to happen. President Donald J. Trump is going to start his own social media company in competition against these pretenders that are out there now. And he's going to show you how it should be run. The government of Uganda shut them down ahead of their general election, saying that they didn't want unfriendly voices coming in and trying to cause meddling in their election. Uganda is ours, said their president. It's not anybody's, stated Yoweri Museveni, president of Uganda. Those Facebook and other groups do not respond here, and as such, the government has closed the social media. He says they are being unfriendly, and just like they're doing it for us, they're being unfriendly to conservative voices here in America, and he agrees with us as well. They should not have shut down our president's right to free speech. You know, this free speech issue, man, it's just awful. I've lived in this country all my life, and never have I seen such an effort to silence free speech. I've heard arguments here and there, whatever. The Democrat Party, the radical Democrats we have in office right now, they don't even want you talking to them. If you come up and offer opinion, Sheila Jackson Lee, against them, all they do is, come, put the camera on me. You people here in Houston know Sheila Jackson Lee. She's always trying to get in front of the camera. I don't know why she wants to put that face in front of the camera. Her and Maxine Waters look like they might be sisters. She might be the younger one, and Maxine is probably the older one. Much older. Woo! Boy, if I had to wake up to that in bed, oh my goodness, I'd probably shoot myself. Anyway, pardon me. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say stuff like that. Let's move on. The ACLJ says second impeachment attempt is very bizarre. What did I tell you before? We're living in a bizarre world right here in the politics of the Democrat Party. A member of the president's legal staff team said second impeachment attempt is President Trump is very bizarre, says Jordan Sekulow in an interview with John Hines of OAN. You know, look out, big tech. Conservatives are fighting back. They are fighting back. We are fighting back. You're not going to silence us. You want to try to silence free speech? You realize this country's been in existence for over 200 years. Do you think a social media site or whatever is out here is going to stop free speech in this country? It's never did it before and will never do it again. And we have to take it to the streets. We will take it to the streets. And you might try to stop us. We'll take it to the street. You'll have to censor every freaking body, every conservative, every Democrat, because they're going to be posting this stuff as well. You think they're stupid? The American people are not stupid. You can try to hide the truth all you want, but all you social media sites, it's coming out. It's coming out. Let's move on a little bit. The Media Research Center is leading a push against big tech after several social media platforms banned the president from posting. I told you yesterday several countries are pushing back against big tech for censoring opposition voices, especially conservative voices. They are attacking my page again, as they always like to do, and our company. They constantly attack them. Tell them to stop that mess. They need to stop it. Because I have other venues I can bring out, we need to bring out. And we're getting ready to rise and grow larger ourselves. So look out. We're coming to a cable news network close to you soon. Right now, we're on Roku TV and Amazon Fire. We show up on YouTube and also here on the Facebook page. Share my programs on Facebook, because if you share it, they normally don't block people sharing it. So if you can share this program, I urge each and every one of you to share it. If you believe in what I'm coming out to say against this shutdown or try to stop of us as conservatives being able to speak our minds in free speech, not through perversion, as they allow a lot of perversion here on social media, and these other things they allow. They're supposed to be under this Decency Act of 230. They're supposed to not allow certain things, but they allow all kinds of things. And I say, stop it, you guys. You are violating our First Amendment rights. Porn is open. Anything pornographic. You see people, I don't know if you get these things, but me as a man, I get this stuff all the time. I got prostitutes, porn stars, and everything always sending me friend requests. And anti-American speech, other countries, hate speech against our country. Do they block that? No. They don't block it. I'll just share whatever the media that comes out against the American people and against patriotism, our patriots. Do you block that? No, they don't block it. They allow them free reign. They come out with all kinds of stuff. There's even been child pornography, all kinds of stuff been found on Facebook and Twitter. I'm sorry, guys. It's the truth. Granted, you might take some of it down, but there's a lot of hate speech and all kinds of other stuff that's not being blocked. You're allowed to go forth. If the Democrats, socialists, communists, whatever, you let them post whatever they want to post. You don't post misinformation under their titles and what they got. Oh, that's not right. That's misinformation. But you block conservative speech. You need to stop it. You will be amazed at the sites that are allowed to operate on Twitter. Twitter, Facebook, and a lot of other social media sites. You'll be amazed. And I venture to say, and whether this is true or not, I won't say. But I venture a lot of those illicit sites that we see even up on our internet are linked to some of these social media sites. I'd like to see somebody go out and do a little research on that as well. Research that, see financially how some of these sites are connected with perversion, which I believe some of them are. Maybe a lot of them are. We need to expose those things as well. Well, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with you here in a moment on the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert with our closing statements. Welcome back. You're watching the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert. You're on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth. You remember I told you yesterday, and I told you about the fact that quitters never win and winners never quit. I meant that, and I meant it about our president. And I'm going to send out a plea to our president, President Donald J. Trump. He's my president. He has been since he stepped into office in 2016. Regardless of the Democrat Party, guys, look at this. The whole time President Trump has been in office, they've been saying that he's not my president. It's an illegitimate election. So the Democrats, you silly people who voted and put some of them or most of them back in office and voted for somebody who told you that your votes were illegitimate. And even some of you who voted for some of these Republican knuckleheads like Mitch McConnell, he needs to be removed from the head of the Senate, which he is now. He's no longer the head because he's sucked up to the left, and now he's been sucked in, and he has no control. Once they get in control, people, they're going to shut you up and not want you to say anything. What does that sound like? It sounds like a communist government to me. Sounds like a dictatorship to me. And it also sounds like, now I'm going to say that. We're just going to move on with this. President Trump, this message is to you. I love you like you're my own daddy. I know some people probably don't like that, but that's okay. Because I believe he is not a perfect man, but I believe he is a good man. I believe his intentions are great. And I believe he is for the American people. But I believe also, President Trump, that you are a winner. You are a winner. And I refuse to believe that it's over. And it is not over. It's not over till the lady sings. What did I tell you? It's not over till the lady sings. This is what the Democrat Party is really scared of. They can't wait for the 20th. That's what they want. Because they know that there's all manner of things that President Trump can do to stop it all. But I don't think he's going to do that. But I'm just calling to President Trump for this. Don't give up. Keep fighting the swamp. I'm sure you have a plan. And I'm sure that you will defeat the swamp in Washington. And we, as the American people who stood up and voted for you to put you back into office, and like it or not, I believe that President Trump is still the president, and he will be even beyond 2021. But it's up to the president. There's a lot of things out here. And I'm one who also believes that this inauguration and this mess that they're getting ready to do should not be allowed to go forward without resolving the election issues that took place in the 2020 elections. And I'm not only talking about the presidential election. I'm talking about all the elections across this country, especially those in the states where they use the Dominion voting machines. Now, you may disagree with me. This is my opinion, not necessarily the opinions of the CTM News Network, the voice of truth. But it is my opinion nonetheless. And I am a people, just as Donald J. Trump is a people, an American people. So I want to thank you for joining me here once again on the Black Conservative Voice. I pray you come back and join us tomorrow here on a Friday's program, and we'll have some new information for you about all this mess that's going on. But they do plan on signing that, that impeachment document on this Friday. Nancy Pelosi got her little hot hand and her little hot pen ready to go for more foolishness. Oh, man. Thank you, though, guys. They're Democrats in the White House, and also the ones that are in the Senate and the Congress. You've given me a job to do, and I'm continuing to be busy because of all the garbage and the foolishness you have put forth. Once again, I want to thank you for joining me here on the Black Conservative Voice, and I would say what I always love to say to you. God bless you, God bless America, and God bless the world. Until next time, this is David Colbert and the CTM News Network, the voice of truth, saying good night and God bless.